Okay, it looks like we are live. It is Friday, January 4th, 2019. We're just going to give everybody a couple minutes to jump on here. Attempt to broadcast this on Instagram at the same time. So if you give me just that, I'm also going to share this on my other page really fast. And if you'd like to do the same, feel free to invite some friends, some family, coworkers, some colleagues. If you know how to set up that watch party feature, that might be a cool option to do too. I personally need to figure out how to get that to work. And I'm working with a new configuration here, so bear with me just a moment. I'm really taking this whole live thing seriously, and I want to make this a cool experience for everyone. So I'm toying with some different setups here. I'm working on making this a little bit more. Oops, shoot, just close that out. Okay, let me do one thing at a time. This is why you can't do multitasking. So while I'm doing that, go ahead and say hello. Let me know where you're logging in from and what are you most looking forward to this weekend. Say hello, where you're logging in from, and what you're most looking forward to this weekend. And also, remember, we're going to do Fridays or wins of the week. So every Monday, one of the things we're going to incorporate with these lives is every Monday we're going to share a goal, something we're working for during the week. And on Fridays, we're going to share our win of the week. We can share one win or multiple wins. So why don't you go ahead and start typing that in? What is one win you've had this week? Or if you'd like to share a couple, what are some wins you've had this week? And then I have one more share, two more shares to do. And then I will share my wins as well. I had some cool ones. Okay, let me just put one more here, and then we'll get it up on Instagram too. I appreciate you all being so patient. By the time we really get this up and running, we'll have this be a fairly streamlined process. Also, the email, if you're on the email list for the lives, that is going to go out, I think, today or tomorrow morning. So it'll have next week's schedule. If you want to get on that, be sure to sign up for that, and I will post a link on here as well. But we have a full week. How do I get that plugged in? We have a full week of live trainings next week, Monday through Friday. And I'd love to have you join me on all of them, or at least one or two of them. So to get on that list for the reminders, you can use this link here. Okay. Let's see who's on here. Oh, now I got to figure this out. Shoot. Okay, put this like this. Oh, that's fine. Okay, just trying to get the mechanics here worked out. Almost got it. Okay, cool. And now we need to move that over here so I can see. And we'll try this. This is a whole nother thing, trying to get these things simulcasted like this. Linda's on here. Oh, Linda, you're sneaking in at work. I love that. Carrie, why is this not showing? Okay, there we go. Carrie, Utah, hoping to see some friends. Awesome. From the Spa Pacers in the morning. Very cool. So make sure to share. So as you're logging in, share your wins for the week. A couple of wins I had this week is, number one, my clients are oftentimes my biggest wins. I had some just tremendous experiences with clients. We had some really, really awesome breakthroughs this week with people who have struggled with certain things for a long time and were able to move past it, people who made significant strides in their relationships and their professional lives. I had the opportunity was presented to me to speak at a pretty significant event coming up, so I'm excited to do that. And let's see, there was one other one I want to share too. Oh, this is kind of a cool one too. So I've mentioned to many of you before that I have some really severe spine back issues, and there's been twice this last week where my back has been fluttering with I'd say going out, and really bad pain, and so my win around that is just recognizing that that's about to happen, and being able to hit the stop button, not overdoing it, not getting too crazy with it, because in the past I definitely would have. And then it would have derailed me and I would have been effed for a long time. So I'm feeling pretty stiff today, but I feel like I'll be able to be back to doing the things I've been doing tomorrow. So those are some of my wins. I'd love to hear you. And let's dive into today's training. I encourage you to take notes. Also, before we jump into today, anybody have questions from yesterday who was on the lives? And also just journal feedback. Have the live trainings this week been helpful? And do you have any questions that we had from yesterday that surfaced up? If you do, you can put them in here. If this is your first time on here, what I'll do is I'll talk minutes. You can type in questions. I can circle back around to them. You can put in comments. I can circle back around and address them. But I really encourage you just to allow yourself to download this. And then remember, discussion. We had an awesome discussion. I think it was on Wednesday. And everybody was on there, myself included. We got so much more out of it because some people asked some really great. That's part of it too. Oh, we got a birthday on here. Happy birthday. If we have time at the end, maybe we can all sing happy birthday. Okay, so let's just get dialed into today. Today's topic is on if you suck at keeping resolutions, you need to watch this. If you suck at keeping resolutions, you need to watch this. And the topic of this, or if not all of us, have some challenges with sticking to our. And the focus of today's training on how to enhance our chances of goals we set for ourselves to ensure that we're achieving the success, the abundance, and the fulfillment that we're after in life. So this is a topic that's near and dear to my heart because I will be the first one to raise my hand and say that I have been notorious in my life for making resolutions, setting goals that I do not stick to. I will come in fired up, like many of you may, with a new year full of vim and vigor, excited for the opportunity, looking like it's a clean slate, wide-eyed with excitement, as if anything is possible, which it is. And then what will inevitably happen is I will set goals, make resolutions, and I allow life to distract me. I allow things to get in the way. I allow myself to be sidetracked and derail. I begin to make excuses and reasons and justifications why I don't follow through. And then pretty soon it doesn't happen. I'll give you one of the most recent ones. Last year, hey, we got some people from Russia in the house. Great to see you on here. Nastasia, is it Nastasia? Is that how you say it? On Instagram. Last year I had made a goal, a resolution for once a week to go in, pick up some trash. I live in a coastal beach town, and it's absolutely beautiful, one of the most beautiful places in the world. If you've never been, I would love for you to join me at an Unlock Your Greatness event when I host it here. It's a fantastic venue for it, and I'm also hoping to host a Healing from Loss experience from this year in Santa Barbara as well. So I'd love for you to join me for both or one of those. And we live in this absolutely beautiful utopia where it really is paradise. It was recently voted like the best weather in the US and some other awards like that are all those environmental, postcard kind of awards. And one of my goals was for this year, this previous year, 2008, was to spend some time every week going up and picking up trash, whether it's 30 minutes, an hour. But I wanted to do that, just volunteer my time, go down there, pick up trash every week. And I did this for the first probably 3-4 weeks, and then something happened. It was cold one morning. I didn't want to go and deal with it. I had some other work that piled up. I made excuses. I let other people have too much influence over my time. And then it came to the point where I was doing it at the very end of the day just to try to get it in. And, here's something I've learned is that, and you all may have known this too, if you have a set time that you're going to do every morning, you're doing this. And mine was every morning I'm going to do that. And then you start to get to the point where you're pushing it off and towards the end of the day and you're just trying to sneak it in. You're in trouble really quick for being able to sustain that. And it's only a matter of time. It's not if at that point, it's a when that you fall off and you end up faltering on what your goal is. And that's what happened with me. I ended up, just falling off. One day I didn't do it, and then I forgot about it. And then a few weeks had gone by, and I realized I hadn't done it. And I thought, well, I should probably go do it. But then other stuff came up, and then pretty soon 6 months had passed, and I thought, God, I'm such a failure. I didn't follow through with this. What a fraud I am. I'm going to sit here and tell people about being accountable and following through with their goals, and then I'm not following through with my own. And that was a tough one for me. And a lot of people would say, oh, it's not a big deal. You're just volunteering. And it is a big deal because I had set the goal, I had made the commitment, and I wasn't honoring it. It was a resolution that I had made, and I wasn't following through with it. I was sucking at it. And I want to share this with you because the reason is because sometimes when you're on this side and you're the one that's teaching, I think one of the challenges is that people may feel like there's this multiple degrees of separation, that I got it all figured out, or I may have all the answers, and nothing be further from the truth. I struggle with this stuff sometimes too. I have my faults. I make my mistakes. I fall down. I fail. I falter. I fuck up. All those F's. And I share that because what helps me be successful with the things I do succeed at is the implementation of tools, implementations of strategies, the implementation of much of the same stuff that I'm going to teach you all today. See, the reason I didn't succeed at that goal, that resolution last year, is because I didn't use the tools that I have, tools that I've taught to thousands of people from all over the world, tools that I work on a daily basis. And here I was teaching it and helping other people with it, but I wasn't applying it for myself. And I wanted to just open with that today, because what I found for myself is, and for my clients, it's really the more you use your tools. We've all before where somebody has this really immaculate tool collection, right? You go into their garage, you go into their workshop, and the tools are all over the wall, and they're spick and span, shiny. They look like they've never been used. There's some dust that's starting to accrue on them because they're really not ever used. And what good do those tools do there? Not a whole hell of a lot. It's when we use the tools, it's through consistent utilization of tools. That's where we can really build the utopia of our lives. That's where we can build happiness. That's where we can build success. That's where we can build fulfillment. And if our tools never get dirty, if our tools never leave the shelf, nothing gets built, and then everything stays the same. So I'm going to give you some tools today that if you're someone who sucks and struggles with keeping resolutions, I want to give you some tools today that you can start to use, and then also take and combine all the trainings that we've done this week to really start building an epic 2019. So does that make sense? First of all, everybody with me on the tools and how important it is to utilize them? Yes, thumbs up. Everybody's with me. So the first thing is a topic, a concept, motivate in the moment, or motivation in the moment. And you can write that down. Motivate in the moment, motivation in the moment. What that means is, so life is really this series of moments, right? And it's not that I knew that my goal for cleaning up the trash was really important to me. It really was. It was something that was meaningful to me. I wanted to use it as a springboard to try to gather other people in the community up. And I wanted to, and my vision of it was to grow it to become this community event, and then to get people around the world to do it. Because I firmly believe that if we were all a little bit more proactive about cleaning up our communities, we could make a dramatic impact on the waste and the trash that we see around. And we could create better, cleaner, trash-free environments for ourselves, our communities, our friends, our families to enjoy. So it meant a lot to me. But where I was getting sidetracked was when I came to those crucial moments of decision, I was allowing myself to focus on the emotional gain of the other alternative, the emotional gain of how good it would feel to stay in bed in the cold morning, how good it would feel to go and spend time with certain people, how it sounded like, that there was a better temptation, maybe going and having happy hour with friends. A client had called and we needed to collaborate on something. So what was happening is I wasn't getting derailed over the whole day. It was these moments of decision. And what happened in those moments of decision was I was more motivated to do the other thing than I was to keep and honor my resolution, to keep and honor my commitment, because I wasn't putting any energy towards that. I wasn't focusing on the vision. I wasn't focusing on the bigger goal. What I was focusing on was the instant gratification, the instant emotional payoff come from doing this other thing. Does that make sense? So here I am. I have this goal. I have this resolution of cleaning up the beach every weekend. And I know what I need to do it. I need to get up. I need to do it first thing in the morning. I need to have it done before the day starts. But then in the moment of decision where it's go and clean up the beach or this, I keep going for this because the this is the cold temperature. The this is other people telling me that we can do it later. The this is going out to breakfast or having lunch or whatever it is. The this is work, clients, etc. The this is opportunities, right? And so all of those have a certain emotional energy and emotional payoff. And we're all emotional creatures. And so from moment to moment to moment, we're always looking for the thing to do, the experience to have, the interaction to interact with, that's going to give us the biggest emotional payoff. Make sense? Another way to look at this is if I have 10 emotional dollars and there's 10 emotional dollars, $1 emotional dollars, and I offer you and say, hey, would you rather have $1 emotional dollar, 10 emotional dollars? Which one would you choose? I'm hoping you're all typing in 10 right now. This isn't a trick question. You would choose 10, right? And when we're making these decisions in the moment, we often will go with the buzz of this one because we're not acknowledging what the real payoff is with this. Here, there's a short-term gain. And what we're really doing in this for our resolutions or goals is we're making a long-term investment for the ultimate payoff down the road. See, I wasn't just cleaning up trash for me. I was cleaning it up for the vision of what it would do to bring the community together, to inspire other people to join in. But in the moment, each and every day I was doing it, it was kind of lonely. It wasn't the most emotionally rewarding, but I was doing it for the big payoff down the road. But on the other hand, here's the 10 coming up and saying, oh, well, you can go to lunch, you can go to breakfast, you can sleep in, you can stay under the warm blankets. You don't have to do it right now. Nobody's going to know. And so we have to look at our motivation in the moment and recognize that there's a reason why we began. And we need to keep that motivation present in those moments of execution. When it's the choice of to do or not to do, we have to tap into that original emotion about why we made the choice to do it in the first place. Because if we don't, we will easily falter and then we lose it altogether. Does that make sense? Is that cool? Yes? Cool. Thread. In context, present and going back to my trash pickup, my goal for doing it was very much a future goal. It was one that I didn't anticipate realizing fully for some goal being bringing people together, having a weekly beach cleanup in the community, having people from around the world dedicate time to do it, inspiring others in communities to start the same. And so I was making an investment, a weekly deposit towards this payoff down the road. But in the present, I wasn't getting a massive return. It's kind of like if you go in, if you put money in a savings account or you put money in the stock market, your money might be in there for some time until it really matures and you get the return that you're after. One of the things that I always tell my coaching clients when they begin a coaching program with me is saying, this is an investment you're making, and it's the investment that will pay off. It will pay off. There will be some return initially, but the real return is going to come for the rest of your life when you have years, 5, 10, 50 years, if you're lucky, to be able to continue living as you are with the shifts and changes that you've met, to live at this level versus sustaining and surviving at this level. So I was making that, I had this goal of the trash cleanup for a future payoff of the community, of the movement is going to make, of cleaning everything up. But again, in the moments of decision, I was opting for what I could have that was easy, what I could have that was pleasurable, what I could have that gave me the buzz, the emotional payoff in the moment. So we have to always keep resolutions, because all of us, the reason we're making these resolution goals is we're making them because we want some sort of measurable change in the future, don't we? If we're trying to lose weight, that's what we're telling ourselves is we want to be this much weight in the future. If we want to have a more romantic relationship, it's saying in the future, I want more romance. If we want to earn more money, it's saying in the future, by the end of the year, I want to be earning more money. I want to have more money in my bank account. I want to have more clients. I want to have more customers. If we're saying I want to read 50 books, it's because in the future, we want to be a person who's read 50 books over that time frame, right? So all the goals, all the resolutions we're making right now, we're making because there's a belief that we have about those goals, resolutions that will pay off in the future. Does this make sense? Right? So all the goals and resolutions that we're making them because there's a belief we have about the payoff we'll get in the future. If I'm 20 pounds lighter, that means I'll be healthier in the future. If I make more money now, it means I'll enjoy better quality of life in the future. If I work on my romance and my relationship now, I'll have more, fun and love in the future. I was going to say boom, boom, and let's get it on, but I already butchered Barry White yesterday. So we won't go there again. But you know what I mean? So everything we're doing, the decisions we're making today around our goals and resolutions, we're doing it for a future payoff. That's awesome. The present is where the work happens. And when we put in the work, there may not be the joy of the payoff. See, in our minds, when we're thinking, I need to lose 20 pounds, I want to lose 20 pounds, my goal is to lose 20 pounds, we imagine life being 20 pounds lighter, how we'll feel more energy, sexier, we'll feel more attractive, we'll feel stronger, we'll be able to see muscles. Those things are very pleasurable. The moment going into the gym, eating the chicken and broccoli, doing the reps, not necessarily a huge pleasurable payoff, but what could be in that moment is going in, having breakfast with your significant other, and having pancakes and waffles or whatever. That sounds yummy. It sounds fun. It sounds delicious. It sounds joyful, right? So why wouldn't we choose that? Because there's more of a payoff in the present than there is. If we're wanting to have more money, we're wanting to grow our business, and we have to put in extra work, do the extra emails, contact the extra people, stay a little earlier. Boy, does that sound like fun, right? That's sarcasm. But what really sounds like fun is being able to say, I worked really hard today. I'm going to stop a little early and get some happy hour. That sounds fun. I worked really hard and I got these things I still need to do, but I'll do them tomorrow because my boyfriend or my girlfriend or whoever, they're here and they wanting to hang out and go do stuff. So I better go do stuff with them because I want that to be okay. And then what happens is the time elapses and things go on and you haven't achieved the results you want, which ends up having a negative impact on that other thing, right? When we don't achieve our goals, we don't achieve our resolutions, the things that we often opt for in the moment, the pleasurable, the instant gratification that we choose, it ends up being negatively affected down the road because the things that are really the really meaningful things to us, we're constantly sacrificing them for the things that are instantly pleasurable in the moment. Anybody ever notice that? So this is where I'm talking about with present and future is you have to have a future focus, meaning when you have those moments of decision, you have to not evaluate from the present about what you can gain, what you can lose in the present, because it doesn't seem like much. I miss cleaning up trash one day at the beach. Big fucking deal. Nobody's going to know. But if I miss cleaning up trash today because it takes away from the movement and it kills off the momentum of getting the community going and it puts it out another year, which ends up being more pollution, all those things, it makes it much easier to say no. Does that make sense? Yes? Cool. I see some yeses popping up. So when we're making those moments of decision, we have to have a future focus. Third thing is you're going to hear me. I say this before, I'm going to say it every single day is accountability. Accountability is absolutely crucial. If you want to keep your resolutions, you want to accomplish your goals, you have to have accountability. It is imperative. Without accountability, we're gonna make it so easy to backtrack and give up on ourselves. When you have the accountability of a coach, a mentor, somebody else who you can check in with daily, who you can interact with, who's going to help you get your mindset and your heart set right, who's going to help you push through those obstacles, help you push through those challenges, that's where the real magic happens. So accountability, absolute must. You're literally every single time you're on these. I'm going to talk about, oops, what did I just do here? Damn it. I'm going to talk about accountability. And the fourth thing I want to leave you with today, and then we'll open up for questions. So if you have questions, you can start inputting those in. A question to ask yourself. Our life is going to always be defined by the decisions we make. It always is. Every day when it comes to your goals, when it comes to your resolutions, you're going to have choices. You're going to have choices to make or choices you cannot make. It's a choice to honor your commitment that you made to yourself, to your goal, to your resolution, or it's a choice to choose something in the moment that's more of a temptation, might be more pleasurable, might be more gratifying, an instant payoff. Tuck it in your back pocket, wherever you need to have it at. So is the question of if not now, when? If not now, when? So you're on the path to losing 20 pounds this year. You've been working out, you've been eating well, but all of a sudden the temptation for waffles and ice cream comes up. Is it the end of the world? No. But is it part of your goal, part of your resolution? Not at all. So if you go and do that, ask yourself, if I'm not going to lose the weight now, when am I? Am I going to wait another year until it's even harder? I'm going to wait a few more years until my health is severely affected. Am I going to wait until the doctor tells me if I don't do something, I could die? If you've been trying to grow your business and you're not doing the little extra things that you know you need to do to take it to the next level, if not now, when? You've probably been to a bunch of happy hours. I had to confront myself with that because I love going out and being social and interacting with my friends. I'm a fairly introverted person, but when I'm with people who I know and I feel comfortable, I can be very extroverted. I love bonding with people that I love and care about and having those experiences. And one of the things that we would do often was happy hour, and it's a great time. I love it. But I was doing it. We got to a point in my life where I was doing it too much at the expense of getting extra things done. Instead of adding in those extra hour or two of work that I needed to get done, I was going out and hanging out with friends. And that was an important thing for me. I really wanted to have that part of life, but it was at the sacrifice of something that was even more deeply meaningful to me. And so I had to look at that and rebalance and readjust it. And it's still a work in progress. Now I've probably swung to the other side where I put way too much time into work and not enough time into the social part that really nurtures and feeds my soul. So I'm gonna work on that this year. That's one of my goals, one of my resolutions. So we have to ask ourselves that, if not now, when? If we're not willing to put in the work on our relationships, if not now, when? When our partner shows up with a divorce paper, when our significant other says they're done, they're tired, they're frustrated, they want to leave and go somewhere else. If not now, when? See, again, remember, life is always going to come down to these crossroads, these moments of decision. One of the questions, if any of you have ever talked with me on a strategy session, consider doing coaching. One of the questions I will ask people when they're hesitant about it because they're a little unsure, they're a little scared, they're not sure if they can financially make it work, I'll ask, not now, when? The majority, I will get every year, I will get 3 to 5 people in January who reach out to me that I talked to a year before, 2 years before, 3 years before. I asked them, if not now, when, back then, and it wasn't time. They had their reasons, whatever it was. And then here they are back. Things are almost exactly the same, but the only difference is that 2, 3, 4, however many years have passed by. If not now, when? We have to, if we want to get to the next level in life, in our businesses, in our relationships, in our health, our wealth, any of those types of things, we have to be willing to hold ourselves to a higher standard than we ever have before. We have to. We have to be willing to confront unwillingness to follow through. And we have to be willing to hold ourselves to a standard that we haven't held ourselves to a standard before. An easy way to check with that, to follow through with that, is to ask ourselves the question, if not now, when? It's a very real question. And what's imperative when you ask that question is you give yourself a brutally, brutally honest answer. Because if you don't answer yourself sincerely, the lies you tell yourself today be the foundation of the future you wake up to tomorrow. And I really want you to consider that. Maybe write that down. The lies you tell yourself today, the lies you tell yourself about why you're not following through with your resolutions, why you're not staying committed to your goals, the lies you tell yourself today are going to be the foundations of the future you wake up to tomorrow. I'm going to make this year absolutely epic and lay it as the foundation for every other year, you got to ask yourself the question, if not now, when? And sometimes that answer is going to be really, really scary, and it is going to be uneasy, and it's going to put you way out of your comfort zone. And when you find yourself facing that, all you need to do is look into your past and see the plethora of evidence you have of all the times that you didn't honor that question and you didn't answer it honestly. And you can look and see exactly where you're going to end up in another year if you lie to yourself this time. If not now, when? So that's what I have for you all today. What questions do you have? Has this been helpful? Yes, no? And we have, let me check. I think 3 spots still open for strategy sessions next week with me. If you want one of them, and this is for people who are really serious about implementing coaching into the program in the coming year, you can use that link to set it up. I will try to figure out how to do it. You know what? On Instagram, what I'll do is I'll put the strategy session link up. I'll put the strategy session link up, and then I'll get on the email list for the weekly lives. And then what I'll do is I'll put it in my story. So on Instagram, if you give me a few minutes right after we're done, head over to my story. I will have a link in there to get on the email reminder list for the weekly trainings, a link on there to get one of the strategy sessions. All right. Hey, Kathy, good to see you over here on YouTube. I guess it's now we're on evening time for you. It's not the middle of the night. All right, let me see. We got some questions here. Very helpful. Awesome. Thanks for saying that, Linda. Loved every bit of this video. If not now, when? I've stopped smoking. That's a month today. Oh, it's awesome, T. Congratulations. My next would be to work on my weight, but have to be careful with this hernia. Not sure when I can start exercising. Need to speak with my doctor. Yeah, you know what, T, I had a hernia before too, and I can appreciate the sensitivity of it and being mindful of your movements. And one thing I can suggest to you, because I horribly faltered on this when I had my hernia, and I actually had the surgery too, is because I wasn't exercising, I used that as a license to just eat like shit. I was having frozen pizzas. I was having potato chips. I was having all these things that I didn't need to have, frozen waffles, and not moving. And what ended up happening is I probably gained, I don't know, 10 or 15 pounds in the however much time it was. And I had to work a lot harder to get it off later on, because then it was such slow going from the recovery with it. So I would encourage you to not do it as I did, but really be mindful, because what I found from other surgeries I've had when I've been more mindful of my nutrition is I could actually go through the recovery process of it, be on point with nutrition, and not lose too much ground in that way, so that it was just about getting the exercise back and not having to bounce back from the nutrition too. Thanks for sharing that. One of the best this week. Oh, it's awesome. Thank you. Any questions on Instagram? You ran this morning. That's awesome. Congratulations. Just look through and see if there's anything on here. Questions? Nope. So just a real quick before we wrap up, the schedule for next week is going to go out. If you're on the email reminder, it's going to go out tonight or tomorrow morning. And next week's focus is going to be on mindset. Huge. We're going to be all about mindset. If mindset matters to you, which I give you a big hint, it should matter to all of us, because our mindset is really mindset and heart set. Our thoughts we think and our emotions, our feelings we feel, they're everything. And if we're not deliberate in taking control of those, our life will be always and forever out of control. So that's going to be the focus next week. The email reminder will go out later tonight, tomorrow morning. I'll also post it up on social media. I'll post it on Instagram. You'll see it around. So just mark your calendars. We're going to have a couple of variances in times next week. Next week, Wednesday, I have a conflict I'm on the board on 4. And then I'm going to test some other times too, just to see where we get our biggest audience, see where this is the most accessible for people. And we'll continue to do that for the next few weeks until we dial it in. But I think Monday and Tuesday for sure are going to be solid times. We're going to play with Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and then we'll get that figured out and have standard times by the end of the month. All right, everyone. And then last but not least, I would love to hear your feedback on this. Do you like the new format for these live trainings? Is it helpful? What is your biggest takeaway? If you haven't shared a win this week, be sure to share your wins. I would love to hear that. And if you want one of those strategy sessions, grab them. They'll go quick. This is for folks who are serious about utilizing coaching. I'd love to speak with you, love to talk with you about how coaching can really help you enhance your 2019 and beyond. And with that being said, wherever you are, morning, noon, or night, I appreciate you. Remember, carpe diem, seize the day, seize the moment. Make the absolute most of them, because this is the only time you'll ever get to live this moment. Make it count. I'll see you later, everyone. Bye-bye. And then Instagram, I'm going to head over to my stories and post links to the email reminders for the trainings and the strategy sessions. So hop over there in about 10 minutes and they'll be up. See you, everybody.